The story of Persephone and Hades is an unique one, unlike the tragic love story between the madly bested Orpheus and Eurydice. This one is strictly one-sided. Ancient Greek mythology has a bounty of wonderfully complex and scandalous love stories that cover adultery to murder, but this one is a league of its own. While she later became known as the queen of the underworld, Persephone was first known as the goddess of spring. She was daughter of Demeter, the goddess of agriculture and harvest. Her mother was also the goddess of cultivation, and without her, nothing would be able to grow. Demeter was often depicted as a mature woman wearing a crown, holding grain, or with her daughter Persephone, who she had with Zeus. Story of Hades and Persephone is very interesting. Persephone danced her way to the garden alone and tried to pluck the narcissus from the bosom of Gaia. It drained her energies as the narcissus only came after a lot of pulling. But suddenly, to her utter fright, she saw the tiny hole from which she had drawn out of the flower shaft began to rapidly grow in size until it started to resemble a mighty, enormous chasm. From this came the vigorous galloping sounds of multiple horses, and such sudden happenings only froze the frail beauty to her feet. Out of all her friends, only the naïve Cyan tried to rescue her, though crying Persephone, but she was no match for the powerful Hades. Bereaving her friends kidnapped, Cyan melted into a pool of tears and formed the river of Cyan at the spot. Goddess Demeter rushed back to where she had left her daughter and found only the Cyan River there, with the other nymphs weeping. Worried as she was, she asked all as to the whereabouts of her beloved daughter. Nobody could tell her anything at all, and furious that they could not protect her child, she cursed all the nymphs into becoming heinous women with plump bodies and scaly feet, called the Sirens. It was only the river Cyan who helped her by washing over the belt of Persephone, indicating that something gravely wrong had happened. Demeter went mad and hunted for her daughter everywhere. The myth says that she even disguised herself as an aged lady and with light tortured in her hand roamed the earth for 9 long days and 9 long nights. Finally, she met Hecate, the deity of magic, witchcraft, spirits, and crossroads, at the dawn of the 10th day, who had pity on her dismal condition and asked her to seek help from the all-seeing Helios, the sun god. Helios told Demeter all about how Hades had dragged Persephone into the underworld. Persephone's mother Demeter begged her brother Hades to allow Persephone to come back to the livings, denoting that the young Persephone wasn't supposed to live in the underworld. Hades consulted with Zeus and they both decided to allow Persephone to live on Earth for 6 months each, while the rest of the time she would be on his side, in the underworld. Before leaving the underworld, Persephone had been persuaded to eat 4 seeds of pomegranate. In ancient mythology, to eat the fruit of one's captor meant that one would have to return to that captor or country, so Persephone was doomed to return to the underworld for 4 months of the year, but she was allowed to spend the remaining 2/3 of the year with her earth mother, Demeter. The myth of Hades and Persephone is associated with the coming of spring and winter. When Persephone comes to the earth, it's springtime. When she descends to Hades, it's winter. The disappearance and the return of Persephone were the occasions of great festivals in ancient Greece, among them the Elphistian rites, whose secrets were so closely guarded that little is known about them today. Some experts believe the rites of mysteries foster the idea of a more perfect life after death, and thus help to lay the groundwork for the coming of Christianity, which upholds the idea of everlasting life.